From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's voice briefing. It's Thursday, November 23rd, 2023.
I'm Dave Boucher with the Detroit Free Press. Ford Motor Company is reducing its commitment to a planned Marshall area electric vehicle battery plant by 800 jobs and potentially cutting its investment by nearly $1.5 billion, moves that will reduce the plant's production capacity by roughly 40%. But the Dearborn automaker is resuming work at the site after a 2-month pause and still intends to meet its goal to open the plant by 2026, a company spokesman said Tuesday. The announcement represents a drastic shift from the promised 2,500 jobs and $3.5 billion investment announced earlier this year by Ford and Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Ford spokesman Mark Truby acknowledged the company's cuts also almost certainly mean the state will reduce the roughly $1.8 billion promised in taxpayer subsidies for the mega development. Truby said the EV market is strong, but it's not growing at the rate Ford expected. The company needs to be, quote, really disciplined about how we allocate capital, he said. The company also intends to use less space at the site, which currently comprises hundreds of acres just west of Marshall, a small town that's about 35 miles east of Kalamazoo. Representatives for Whitmer and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, the state entity that oversees incentives for this deal, both focused on the fact Ford still plans to invest at the site and not on the reduction in promised investment or jobs created. But the MEDC agreed with Ford that subsidy cuts are necessary. While some state Republican lawmakers who oppose the plant want to remove incentives altogether, it's more likely the incentive package is reduced to correspond with the smaller investment. That might take legislative action, which inherently involves political hurdles. For 2 months, Ford paused its work at the site amid the UAW strike. However, site preparation work continued, to the chagrin of some local residents who oppose the size, scope, and other aspects of the plant. Legal efforts to derail the plant continue, although their chances of success are not considered exceptionally strong.
I'm Andrew Burkle with the Free Press Sports Department. The Lions playing on Thanksgiving is a tradition we've all become quite familiar with over the years. 12:30 kickoffs, usually some throwback jerseys, and unfortunately for Lions fans, the team finding a way to lose. But this year is different. The Lions are 8-2 for the first time since 1962. Yes, incredibly, that is somehow true. And that makes this game extra important, because as much as watching the Lions play on Thanksgiving is a tradition in Michigan, it is across the country as well, and sometimes against their will. A while back, there was talk about moving the Lions off of Thanksgiving because they were so consistently bad. Well, here we are, and guess what? The Lions and their fans can officially say, "How do you like me now?" The Lions will host the Green Bay Packers for this year's Thanksgiving game. No Brett Favre, no Aaron Rodgers. And what do you know? The Lions are 7.5-point favorites. It's by no means a guaranteed win. Shoot, last week against the Bears looked as much like a schedule win as you're going to find. And guess what? The Lions barely pulled it out. But just like in week 1 against Kansas City or in primetime against the Packers earlier this year or the Raiders on Monday Night Football, this is yet another opportunity for the Lions to redefine how the rest of the country sees them. If that sounds stupid, try telling that to Dan Campbell. From day one, he has put an emphasis on changing how people see and view the Lions. It didn't happen overnight. It took hard work when no one was watching and big wins when everyone was. But hey, we're still pretty early in this turnaround. So as the entire country sits around and fills their belly with turkey, the Lions will be grinding it out against a divisional foe. No matter what happens, you can bet they'll take that chance to show people who they really are and jump at it.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press on freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.